Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Etta Arlene's Spirit Cast. I'm Etta, this is Arlene. We are both certified Reiki masters and certified in guided meditation. We love all things related to spirituality, metaphysics, mindfulness, Reiki, energy healing, magic, tarot, astrology, and more. We love it all. That's what this podcast is about. For today, we are going to do a little mini weekly reading for you, and then we're going to get into an interview. Arlene's going to interview me. We decided it would be fun to interview each other just so you guys could get a little more information about us and our background before we start interviewing a bunch of other people. And then at the end of the podcast, as usual, we always have a free distant Reiki session, so you just listen to it and be open to receiving the energy. All right, let's get into the reading.
Okay, so for today's reading, I'm pulling from my cute little meditation deck, just for the beginning, middle, and end of the week. So for the beginning of the week, it's saying that nothing exists the way it appears. It is all up to our karma. So I interpret that as there's more to everything in your week. There's going to be more to the people you interact with, and that the energy you put out, you get back, and just be a good person. Just be nice, be sweet. Even if you deal with people who are difficult, you have a choice of how you respond, and that's what you're going to receive back from the universe. Okay? And for the middle of the week, we have a affirmation. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become.
Oh, that's great.
So this, again, ties in the beginning of the week. Like I said, you have a choice on how you react to people, the energy you give off, you give back. So it doesn't matter what your current circumstances are. You have a choice of who you are, what you give off, what you do, and who you choose to become. Period. It's never too late to be a different person, change your life, act on your dreams. Maybe this might be the time to start. If it resonates, I think that's cool. That was nice.
I like that one a lot.
Okay, so for the end of the week, again, we have another affirmation. I am blessed and I am grateful.
Oh, that's good. That's a good closing.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is good. I am blessed and I am grateful. Focus your thoughts. Realize your power. Realize how good you are, how great life is, and stop taking shit for granted.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It ties in. I am blessed and I am grateful. I love that. Maybe that should be your affirmation for the week. That's a good way to get centered. I love that.
Yeah, I really like that. I like the whole everything, the whole message.
So beginning, be mindful of the energy you're putting off, how you react to people. Middle, you have a choice on who you choose to be, how you choose to react, and who you choose to become. And the end is realize that. Remember.
I feel like it's like an evolution.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's
really
cool.
powerful.
Okay.
When we get back, we're going to go into the interview.
Hey guys, we just want to take a second to let you know where you can find us at. You can listen to our podcast on all major podcasting networks like Stitcher, iTunes, and more. You can also follow us on Instagram at Etta Arlene, on Twitter at edpro_pgh, on Pinterest at Etta Arlene, on Tumblr at Etta Arlene, and you can go to our website to subscribe for some Reiki. Thanks for listening. Okay, so we are here for the interview. This is Arlene interviewing Etta.
Hi.
EttaArlene.com, Reiki master, artist, practitioner, graphic designer. Yeah. Okay, so for mine, I talked a lot about our history, our work, what we've done. What would you like to start with? Would you like to start from the beginning, or would you like to start from who you are now?
Well,
Introduce yourself.
So, I'll just sum everything up. So if you did not listen to our first one, we talked about like what we are, like what we did. So we're business owners. We've had a couple businesses that were successful in their own right, and then in 2016 we decided to change everything. That stemmed from I believe our spiritual growth and trying to live more authentic. She's right, I am an artist. I'm actually pursuing that more now, I believe. So we'll keep you updated on how that goes and where you'll be able to find that art in the future. I don't
You know where you're gonna launch it officially.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have I've been working on like an Instagram account for it, and then I have a website, I have a domain name. And it'll just be something more personal for me. Sure, I'll be monetized and whatever, but it's more of like
It's your self-expression.
It's me defining myself as an artist finally after years of thinking that I couldn't. Not that I'm not I didn't think I was talented. It's just that narrative of you can't be an artist kind of thing. Like,
well, you have to make money.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go the traditional route and make money. So you went to art school.
I did go to art school.
So you are definitely a trained artist.
I did. I went to school for graphic design. It's funny because at one point I thought I should have gone for fine art. I'm still involved in, like, the art world, guys. I don't want you to think that I've just, like, completely cut myself off from it.
I would say what we do is very creative. I don't think you've ever lost touch with the creative.
No. So there was a point, you know, sometimes I'll do programs and stuff and teach kids about art. And I got to work at the museum for a little bit during the international, and I was, you know, teaching people about art.
You're an art ambassador?
Yeah, it was like a gallery. So the reason why I'm glad I did graphic design now is because it's like more practical. So a lot of people think that there's like an overlap, and there is an overlap with art, but there's something to it being trained as a designer and not just like fine art, because then you're able to think like what's aesthetic and stay up with the trends as opposed to just making something that you think looks cool and is emotional based. And you know, it's nice to be able to put those two together. And I had met artists who had really awesome, like, amazing, like, beautiful artwork, but they weren't fluent with, like, the digital side of everything and having a brand. Like, creating a brand was the biggest. I mean, we use my degree for our stuff all the time.
Yeah, we always have. It's been, actually, I think it's a blessing. Sometimes. Because I know sometimes you feel like maybe you should have went the fine art route, but I think it's been a crucial asset to everything that we've been able to accomplish. But so what's your favorite medium? Like, I know you make really amazing paintings. What do you like to do? Tell me more about it.
I prefer acrylic paint and oil paint. And I know a lot of people are like, oil, it's the best color. You know, you get the best colors, blah, blah, blah. But acrylic paint dries fast. And sure, you can, like, mix stuff in your oil paints to make it dry faster. And the colors are rich, yeah. But I don't know, I like, you know, being able to, like, make a painting, have it dry decently fast, and then if you don't like it, paint over it or whatever. I am getting more into oils. I mean, the biggest thing with oils for me is just all the chemicals involved. And there was an artist that I was like listening to, and he actually got cancer, and he thinks it was related to the chemicals involved with oil painting. It just smells really strong. So I'm doing stuff with, like, water-based oils right now, or, like, water soluble oils. But I always end up going back to acrylic. Watercolor's nice, but that's just not my, like, thing. Yeah.
That's cool. So you're going to launch that eventually, whenever you feel ready.
Yeah, I am creating a new body of work. So I have all of the art from the past, but I want a body of work that is, like, cohesive and fits with, like, matches, like, has, like, a similar color palette and will look good on an Instagram feed or in a show where it's all, like, you get, like, this mood when you go in. I think that's important to me. Like, Andy Dixon has this color palette of, like, the pinks and, you know, it has a mood to it. Like, you know it's him. And so that's what I kind of want to feel like with my work. Like, having a color palette that can be crossed over onto our own, you know, on our
aesthetics.
Yeah, like, I want it to all kind of fit together.
Yeah.
So that it's more just a fluid, like, branch off of Etta ARLENE, not like just this thing, this random, like, you know,
this random pink pastel thing.
Yeah, like, I want it to have, like, to fit
us.
That. So, and I've contemplated, maybe I've heard of artists who will infuse it with, like, their work with energy and, like, Reiki and stuff, so that there's, like, a healing element to
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I thought of maybe doing that.
Yeah.
Adding
so
Reiki to
add that
it.
to the list of things that Etta does.
Reiki
art. Reiki art. Like, the art thing. It's exciting to have you start doing that again and really go all in on it. Oh, Gizmo's here.
It's our cat. He wants the pendulum right now.
Just give me the pendulum. Give me it. So, let's talk about your spiritual journey. Okay. What pushed you into spirituality?
So, I started meditating because I couldn't sleep. And that is because our business got very stressful. I think it was something that escalated. So at one point I thought I could work at a graphic design studio and run a business. Do you remember those hours?
You did.
So,
'cause you tried to go the traditional route
first.
And it definitely wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, I realized there that I didn't want to do commercial art necessarily. So I did that, and then we ended up getting into Warped Tour, and that was immense. That was very stressful.
I would say that's probably one of the more stressful times of our, besides holiday seasons, obviously, but that was one of the most stressful events we've done.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was cool. I'm glad we got into it, but it was, I don't know. It made us, like, have a different view of it. I had fun. I had fun at Warped Tour. I mean, we ended up having fun. We were exhausted. And I think what added to the stress is that, like, I was working full-time, far away.
Doing the hustle.
Yeah,
right?
like, trying to do it all. And I think you were working at the, you had crazy hours.
I was working.
We were trying to juggle everything. So, you know, having your own business can be scary. So sometimes you want to have something to, like, latch on to. And I was, there, and we had the success with the shirts, and then we branched out into the candles, and I would try to do I still do this stuff, but, like, remember I worked at the other museum and do like things, art stuff or whatever, but the candles went from being extremely fun to extremely stressful.
Yes.
And I don't know, I think that might be how it was supposed to be, or else we would not have become Reiki masters. I wouldn't have become Reiki master if we wouldn't have had that energy around the candles.
Oh yeah, I think that everything happens for a reason.
Definitely. So I started doing meditating all the time to try to, like, sleep and relax, and I get migraines, so I was trying to stave off the migraines with these meditations that were going to allegedly help that. Not allegedly, I'm sure they helped, but so went from there to getting into law of attraction. And this happened for both of us. We're always together, so we both kind of, like, shared our, like, teachings and stuff and, like, what we learned. But I started doing law of attraction, and I was doing it, like, the Think and Grow Rich route. Like, I'm doing it for my business kind of thing, not, like, personal development. Yeah. It was personal development, but it was, like, geared towards, like, having this end goal of financial, I don't know, like, some sort of, like, I don't know.
Do you think that was a moment where that we were living from the I'll be happy when?
Definitely. No, for sure. 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Like, the happiness was rooted differently.
It was. Yeah, for sure. Because back then it was like we had this, like, goal. We had to get this goal achieved. Then we could relax. And that wasn't how we were prior to... I don't know when, like, the shift happened. Before, yeah. I don't know.
What year do you think the shift happened?
I think that I mean, I think, too, you get older, you get more mature, and you have, like, you want to hit these, like...
life goals.
Yeah, which don't matter. None of them matters anymore, but, you know, you have these societal, like, pressures and what have you, but I think that, probably, 2012, 2013 were really cool years, and then 14, 15, 16, we were, like, really hustling with the shirts we
were 2013, I think 2013 is when we started, like, really going hard.
Shirts, and we were trying to do, like, because we were band promoters, so we were trying to do, like, concerts and stuff, too, and then...
we're trying to do it all.
And work, so then, that's stressful, so that, I think, dealing with so many different, like, people and energies and stuff like that, like, I think you end up having things stick to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really interested in the idea of soul retrieval right now, which we can talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that maybe pieces of us were going to all of these things and wearing us out. And the pinnacle of it was after we did multiple holiday seasons with the candle. The sure holiday seasons were rough, but they were manageable. They weren't as bad. But we had double... It was, like, extreme with candles. It was a different process making them, and it was all... even no matter how prepared we were, it was like we weren't prepared enough. And we weren't prepared for, like, the energies that were coming from people. I know I keep saying that, like, the energies are coming, but, I'm an energy healer, so get over it.
I would say that was a reason why we started to look into energy protection.
So I think I was looking at the law of attraction, like, how can I make this process go smoother?
Mm-hmm.
How can, I wasn't looking at it the way I look at it today.
Yeah.
So we phased into, like, these Reiki videos, not knowing what they were, and for like energy protection and stuff like that. So like, hey, why not? You know? And then I think 2016 was when it really like kicked in. It was like hardcore, like we need to get it together. And then we decided to become Reiki practitioners and then get rid of all the stuff that was not for our highest good.
Yeah.
And it's scary to do stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
No, like
I think it is scary. Change is very scary, and it's scary to let go of everything that you know in the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, and just instead of pursuit of money, it needs to be pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
And everybody is pursuing money, and people are gonna argue like, "Why do you do this?" But yeah, you do, but like you have to be happy too. Like, what's the point in living if you're not happy? Like, all the money in the world doesn't mean shit if you're not.
Doesn't mean shit.
No.
I think that yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I have like this goal, and we've talked about this before. I want to do everything I said I was gonna do when I was little. Just do it. And some of that, a lot of this stuff spawns off of the Reiki, and it doesn't matter what the success of it is. It's not, the goal isn't to be successful, it's to do it. So it is to write the book, create an art thing,
Yeah.
or do whatever it is, like have this podcast, or
Yeah, it is. Because if we wouldn't have shifted our thinking, we wouldn't be doing stuff like this. We wouldn't be doing the podcast. We would still be operating in that 3D, like, living style, and that cycle that you're told that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So just kind of making it yourself. And,
Yeah.
There's no, I'm learning now, there's not a right or wrong path to be on.
No, not at all.
What makes you happy is the right path, I would say. And
Boom. That's a good, I like that a lot. I said boom. Boom. Wham. There you go. That's what's most important, is what makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Because you think about, too, like, I think about, like, people staying in situations or relationships and stuff like that because it's, like, the right path, but they're, like, miserable, and they're taking all these, like, crazy, I don't know, they're hit with depression, they don't know why, but really it's because they're working a career that they absolutely cannot stand just because they think they have to have copious amounts of money to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And, having, like, babies they don't want to have yet because they're like, oh, I gotta have a baby now. Like,
yeah. It's what is happiness. Happiness is different for everybody, but as long as you are happy or in the pursuit of happiness, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
You will be fine.
But I feel like the healing, like, I feel like I'm still on a journey.
Yes.
That I'm still becoming a Reiki master hasn't, like, I still feel like I'm learning. And we actually did, like, so we went to the Akashic Records, and I actually had a thing that said to keep learning and practice. So, honestly, I'm, like, like, if I, just 3 years, 4 years ago, I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was.
Just everything. Thinking and ambitions.
It's just changed a lot.
Yeah.
So I hope that resonates with any people out there. Like, it's okay to
It's okay to change.
Yeah.
It's okay to change. That's good. It is very good. It's okay to change. And I think it's okay to not be where you thought you would be. Mm-hmm. Like, to shift your thinking.
It's just crazy. Like, I think how if you would have talked to me after college, I would have told you that I was going to be doing editorial design.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you wanted.
And I would be in, I don't know, living in New York or something. And I couldn't see myself doing that at all, like, today. That would have been a horrible career choice for me. Horrible. No. That's not helping people at all. It doesn't help anybody.
Do you remember the movie Mr. Nobody?
I do, yeah.
I always think about how, like, you have these different paths you can choose.
Yeah.
And, like, someone gets you the same part, like, just slightly different, or it could be completely awry, completely different.
Yeah, it's funny. That is, like, interesting that because we have, like, free will, there are, like, all these different choices and these different paths.
Different choices, because if you would have chosen that path, what would life be like?
Or would have
been sustainable.
I always think, too, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, they say you have all these paths, but could there be paths that all lead to the same
Destination,
yeah. could there, like, if you're meant to do something, like something is your highest soul's purpose, like something is what your higher self wants you to do, that's what you're here for, could there be a path that leads you, no matter what path you take? So, for example, let's say I would have become gotten involved in editorial design in New York, hated it, came back to Pittsburgh, and then started doing mindfulness because I was so lost from that falling apart, and then all of a sudden I'm a Reiki master again.
I think that it might switch the time frames. So there's like the easy way, the middle way, the hard way, and the really, really, really hard way.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to take you the same... I would like to think that it takes you the same end goal, but it's just a different way of getting there, and it depends on how long it takes. Like, I feel like the universe was nudging, like, slightly, nudging, yeah. And then it didn't nudge. It's like, okay, well then here, let's take this bucket, throw everything in it, and just set it ablaze. Maybe they'll understand then.
Sometimes I think, too, that it took extreme, like, for us, the universe did extreme intervention because we weren't listening to, like, divine guidance. I
definitely disconnected from divine guidance.
Yeah, you did say that. You said there was, like, a gap where you just felt like you were living in, like, a... What did you say you live your life... How do you say you live your life for a quarter mile at a time or something weird like that?
I have these weird quotes, and that's actually from Fast and Furious. I don't...
Wait, what's the other quote?
I live my life a quarter mile at a time. That's one.
What about we look good?
Oh, my favorite quote. It's still my favorite quote. I don't care if
she lives by
even
this.
if I don't like operate the same way. It's if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, if you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. If they pay good, you stay good. I believe that. That's a football quote.
Football?
It's from football.
Who said that? What football?
I think it was like Deion Sanders or something.
Oh, it was probably definitely Deion Sanders. Okay.
It's a Deion Sanders quote. That was my favorite, one of my favorite quotes. I live like that, but it's not about how you look, it's how you feel. So it's how you feel. It's what makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good to, do whatever, as long as you feel like that, even that quote, like, it's how you fucking feel. Because when you feel good, then things align with that. It's not about looks, it's about how you fucking feel on the inside. It's how you feel.
Yeah. That was one of the, so I've been really practicing silencing the ego hard. It's really important. And
understanding what that means. What does it mean to silence the ego? You can answer that.
So, when your ego is going to be that voice in your head that tells you suck. That
little voice.
You can give it a name, whatever, and the voice sounds like your own. I'm not saying it's... Some of you might have a disembodied voice, and, wow. But,
maybe you might want to...
But, generally, it'll sound like you, because it is, like, a part of you, and, your ego is... People have different takes on it, but some people think it's the part of you that it wants you to survive, and so much that it stifles you from growth because it wants to keep you in that box that is your safety. And to keep you in that box, it'll talk you out of doing things that are better for you. Like, it'll talk you out of going on, some trip around the world that you've always wanted to do, or that, buying an outfit that is a different color than you usually wear, but it'll look super cute on you. It can be the most basic thing, but anything that, like, convinces you that you aren't able to do something or aren't good enough or whatever. And it's a sneaky bitch.
That sneaky bitch, the ego.
Yeah.
Fucking ego.
And, like, the voice, she, like, comes around, and it's the loudest when things aren't the way you want them to be, I think, because it has all of these things to pull off of as examples. And even though anything that it would pull off of is the past, it's not, like, I'm really interested in being in the present, and, you're different than you were 5 minutes ago. You're not the same person, but your ego wants you to think you are.
Would you say, like that's how people get stuck in certain, like, time frames in their life? Because, like, that's when it was good, but now it's not good, so you just suck right now.
Probably. I mean, like, okay, it can be anything basic, like, think of, you'll see like a lady who has like hair that looks like it's from like, I don't know, like the way wrong time period. It looks crazy, but for some reason she keeps it. You know, people, some of that could be just her look, which is fine. I support that because I think all women are beautiful. But if it's, some people might have that because they don't think they can look good with a different hairstyle. And their egos, maybe it's like some like thing, like this was the best time of my life and this is how I look and this is it. Like, who knows? I mean, it could be anything, but like, you know, an egoic thought could be, like I said earlier, you want to buy a shirt and then you put it on and you think it looks good, but you never wear tight shirts and you all of a sudden are like, but it makes me look fat. It probably makes me look fat, doesn't it? And
it convinces you.
Yeah.
It's
like,
a convincing
yes,
voice. Lack, I always think of lack. Like, it makes it elevates, makes it louder, volume louder on things that you think, you perceive that you lack. So whether it be like money, like I'm poor, I suck, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm not smart enough. It's always negative. It
accentuates things. And I've read people, like there's people who like gurus and stuff, and they say that it's still good, it's still important, and it'll help, you know, they'll say it'll help, it just wants your survival and it helps you survive. But then you'll hear other people are like, but that you gotta shut her up. She needs to get out of here. So regardless of what you believe, I personally think that you can't listen to it. And because you do have a higher self and you do have like a divine guidance. And so when I say I'm listening to my higher self, I'm listening to that voice that's like, no, you can do this. Like, no, that's not true. That's not what, you know, that's not right. Like, even down to like the art stuff, like an ego thought would say, oh, you can't do that, there's too many artists. But my higher self is saying it doesn't matter because you're not doing it for those artists. You're painting, yeah, and it makes you feel it because you want to be an artist. It doesn't, but and your ego might say, well, you need to make money off of it. But then your higher self will be like, fuck money, be happy, do what you want to do.
Would you say that like societal programming held you back from pursuing the art fully a while ago?
I think societal programming holds everybody back in some way. 100%, because we are supposed to be on a structured path. Everybody. There's a reason. Obvious. I was going to say for some reason, but there's a reason. And, you know, there's a reason. But it's just like, I read this thing on Twitter and it was talking about like age and stuff. And this guy, he's like, you know, I don't know why people complain about their 30s. This is the best time of my life. And then somebody in their 40s was like, yeah, I mean, in my 40s, I was able to find my dream job and I'm so happy. And then another person chimed in. They're like, I'm 50 and I used to be an introvert all my life and I finally got over it. And now I'm like traveling the world and I'm having a great time. So why are we all convinced that the best parts of our lives are like high school? You know, like, yeah, it's because of like why are we convinced that way? Like, you're the most beautiful when you're like this or X, Y, and Z. And I think a lot of it's fueled by keeping a certain societal structure going, keeping consumerism the way it is. So you buy new cars, so you put makeup on, so you do all this stuff to try to emulate something that isn't really you. And probably doesn't make you happy necessarily. So, I mean, sure, societal pressure definitely gets in everybody's head because you're told that that's not a lucrative career for you unless you are
on this path.
Yeah,
unless the things are aligned in a certain way.
I always think to myself, like, think about, like, we talked about this before, you know, like, Kylie Jenner just decided to make a lipstick brand and whatever, make herself an influencer, and she has no, like, education or anything. And she did it because she was programmed to believe that she could do it. She has money, her family has money and stuff. Like, she has an advantage, obviously. But she knows that because of all of that, she can be and do whatever she wants to. Yeah. She could probably have decided she wanted to be a fine artist and literally take a shit on a canvas, smear it around, and people will eat it because she knows that she's programmed to know that she can do whatever she wants to do. And, like, we're not, like...
So why... that I would argue, like, then why can't other people? It's because they don't believe.
No, for sure. Because we're not... We don't believe in ourselves. We're conditioned. We get all these messages telling us that life is so much better a certain way.
I respect the hustle that, like, the Kylie Jenner or whatever. I respect it. Why do people feel the need to try to tear these people down?
To tear successful people down?
Yeah. In any form, no matter who it is.
I don't know. I think it's weird. Like, sure, I don't know her as a person or any of those people, and they might be really, like, mean. They might be completely horrible people.
Who knows?
Yeah, so I don't know why, like, the fact that you don't know them is kind of weird to be cruel. But I think that when people attack other people for having something that they want or being more successful, it's more like a reflection of where they're at. But I also think it depends on, like, the context too. Like, so, like, are we talking about somebody who's just, is it just like a broad general thing, or are we talking about, like, celebrities?
I think, like, just like, let's just say celebrities for now.
I think, well, I think it's like easy access. It's easy to talk about these people because they are in a public platform, but I think most people do stuff like that because they still have work to do on their own, like, internal growth spiritually. And don't know, like, positive, negative, I don't know why people do that stuff, but I think that it is reflective of, like, the work they still need to do and where they're at. Because everybody, I mean, I felt weird about celebrities and stuff like that before. Like, why would they do this? But I don't know why people tear other people down. I just don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I listened to this guy who was talking about how people are at different spots on their spiritual journey, even if it doesn't seem like they're on a spiritual journey at all, and it's just reflective of the growth that their, like, higher selves or whatever, the growth that they're on. So you get into, like, karma. And karma. Yeah. You know, guys, you probably think this is coming out of left field, but hear me out. So the idea that you come to Earth to learn. You're coming here to learn and have these experiences, and you're asleep. You know, you don't know. You're coming here not knowing anything, not knowing who you were in a past life, nothing. And every life is an opportunity to get closer to where you need to be spiritually, I guess, or connected to Source. So the more you're here, the more, like, karmic, like, bad karma you accrue, you have to, like, pay those karmic debts in the next life so that you can learn from it.
This is what we believe.
Oh, yeah, you guys believe whatever you want to believe. Yeah. This is something I believe, but this is where my thoughts are with that whole celebrity thing. So those people are just, that's where they're at right now, and it might be something that they start to, like, heal from and learn from. Like, they might, you know, in, like, 5 years, they might be like, why did I even care about what the fuck Kim Kardashian is doing? She doesn't affect me at all. Like, who cares? Then that person has, like, healed that energy or whatever.
Yeah, fix that energy.
So everybody has some sort of thing that they're working on while they're here. Even the most, like, spiritually advanced people you think have it all together, they have some sort of, like, something they're working on. I mean, you can even see that type of energy coming through with people who do, we were talking about it, and this, you know, this might be controversial, I'm gonna say it, whatever, who cares. Whenever you see people do, like, card readings and stuff like that, like, there's a ton of them, and there's different tone that some of them have, and some of them have, like, more of a negative outlook on, like, you're like, why is this card reading so negative? And I think some of it is, like, that's where they're at, and that's the energy, like, it's coming through. Not that it's bad or, like, good or whatever, but, like, maybe that's just something that they're still, like, working on, and not even consciously. But you'll be like, why did they read my message like this? And you know, different people too, but I always think about that whenever I do listen to card readings and stuff. Like, you know, I was listening to one girl, and she's, like, super happy, and she was like, she said she tries to be happy because she had so many struggles, and now things are cool, so she wants to be, like, that hope for people. So whenever she does her card readings, they always have, like, a spin. They're always like, it means this, but this is an opportunity for this. Whereas you might have somebody else who's like, this card came up, and
like,
you don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. Yeah. Look for the bad.
Yes,
look for like, protection. So I remember in the first one you mentioned how, like, you are actively coming from a place of love now, instead of being so defensive. What would you say about, like for people, advice for people to start to look for energy blocks they might have? Like, what would you say would be a good way to start recognizing that?
I think how you view people is a good way, because usually that's reflective of you. If you look at everybody as bad, or, like, everybody's selfish, then that's a reflection on, like, you somehow, that you have to work out. Like, why do I feel this way? I think that's a good way to figure out, like, what you need to work on. If you are only seeing, like, the negatives in people, you know, Yeah, everybody's not always sunshines and rainbows all the time. And
no.
It's okay to, like, not to be like, oh, I can't deal with you right now. But I think that sometimes if you notice a trend, like, you're always perceiving the world in a certain way, that maybe that's something that needs to be dealt with on the inside. And you're reflecting those inner feelings outwardly, not consciously.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing it on purpose. That's just how you are.
I like to think that our inside world is a reflection of our outside world is a reflection of the inside.
It is, like, even you know, you look at people who are like have depression and stuff, and they'll often say that they can't. Remember, we know a girl, I guess, like the most difficult task or something like that, and it's like they're in such a weird headspace that they can't get certain tasks done in their home. So it's a reflection of what's going on in their head. Or like if you feel confused, or like from like my office, if it's all shuffled about, because I'm not naturally like that, then one could easily assume that I have a lot going on in my head at that moment.
Yeah, and I want depression to not be so stigmatized. Any mental issues people might have, like, it annoys me when I see things that it's like, oh, you're not depressed, you're just sad. Like, you have no idea what people are going through.
Yeah,
if people know that they're not alone on that, and to get the proper assistance they need. Mm-hmm. Like, we get messages all the time from people asking for advice. Like, not everybody doesn't have it all together. Like, we don't have, like, everybody's going through their own thing. And people that you think are perfect and fine and have a good life might have their own struggles going on.
Everybody has struggle. And, honestly, too, I think that if we were all more, like, loving and accepting and perceptive of, like, it's okay, I don't understand why this person feels that way, I'm going to support them and help them anyways, then that person has better opportunity of healing, as opposed to, why do you feel like that? Like, mm-hmm. you have no reason to feel like shit. Like, look at your life, it's perfect, but there's something going on. And then, being mean, I don't think being mean ever solves anything.
Judgmental.
Ever. Judgmental, cruel, like, unnecessarily, and it doesn't help people. You can, you hear people get angry, and then they go out, like, the protests. I've been to a lot of protests, we all have. I have, like, I got signs in the back of my trunk. I'm ready
for any protest.
I am. I like whip those bad boys out, like, and I feel like I do it because I need to, like, so that's like energy I support, but there's still something, like, being so angry hasn't fixed it, though.
It doesn't fix anything.
No.
And I like the Mother Teresa quote where she's like, if it's a peaceful protest, then I'll be in attendance.
Yeah.
Which is like
if I'm pro peace. Or
if it's a pro peace and not anti.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I'm for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, energy give people back, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. After the election in the United States, I feel like there was a global depression, but I feel like that we were just very angry at that point.
I cried.
Tears, really cried. But that's when we were really protesting a lot. Besides, like, when we were younger.
We were going through the energy shift.
How was your Reiki attunement? Because you asked me about my Reiki attunement. How was yours? And what really pushed you into wanting to become a Reiki practitioner?
Okay, so they say that Reiki finds you if you're meant to do it. I read that somewhere. Believe it. I didn't know the depths of Reiki until I started learning it. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was because I use Reiki to meditate with, so I thought it was like this meditation practice, and it is not. I mean, it is a energy healing, though, and it is more than meditate. Sure, you can meditate with the Reiki symbols, but it, it's different. It's different, and I don't know when. There was a point in time when I was learning, and I was like, oh, this is not what I thought. But I was completely down with it, and then I decided that's what I really wanted to do, and like kind of had to do. But what really made me go all in on everything, mindfulness, spiritual, all of it, was the Reiki attunement. Because that was one of the first, like, genuine, like, hardcore magical experiences in my life. Like, I can't, anybody, I don't know how other people's Reiki attunements are. I've heard other people talk about their attunements, and I've heard, like, really off the wall stuff. Like, I heard people who said they were seeing auras, people who were saying they had, all of a sudden their intuition was heightened, and they had all of these, like, they were able to, clairvoyances, like the clairs were coming through easier. I've heard a lot of different stories. People saying they've gone into the vortex. Just a plethora. Everybody's Reiki journey is different. So when I was going to get attuned, I thought that my attunement was going to be going into the vortex because that's what I wanted.
You can't will things in the universe.
I wanted to I wanted the psychedelic hit me up, but I had mine after her and I called her and her voice was completely different and she's like, I don't know why we're even here. What is all of this?
What is life? What is existence?
Yeah.
What is the purpose? I think after my Reiki attunement, that's when I really went all in about figuring out what the fuck my purpose is.
It shifted from wanting to, it was from wanting just to have money to wanting to have sustainable living, doing my highest soul's purpose.
Yes.
In the business wise, it was how do I help people and take care of myself?
How do I combat this 3D world in a higher dimension? How? And I should have mentioned that in mine. That just clicked for me. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like after my attunement. It felt like a huge drive to figure out what life purpose. What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? What is my mission? How can I be of service to the universe?
So I did mine that evening, and I made my space super cozy. I had candles lit, and so you guys know we did distant attunements. Distant attunements are just as good as in person. They're just different experience, but you still get the energy. Anyways, I remember this distinctively. So I lay down, and the time comes for the attunement, and it was like a click, and everything went silent around me. So I was watching a guy described how it was doing DMT, and the way he described DMT was how my Reiki attunement was. So if anybody's ever done DMT, that's what my Reiki attunement was like.
I forgot about the click and the silence. I forgot that.
I can never forget that. It was like this, and then it went silent. And for some context, there were children playing outside. And you could hear them laughing and stuff before I laid down. And I'm really good at shutting people. I don't care about background noise. No more dogs barking. I couldn't hear my neighbors at all. Nothing. It was just complete silence. And then I felt a woo, 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 like that. Ooh, I scared my cat.
Gizmo, yeah.
Oh no, I scared my cat. So I started hearing that, almost like a metal singing bowl type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt immense pressure. The energy shifted. And then I'm okay, this is weird. Mind you, I don't know what to expect. I'm this is really weird. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here. Okay. I don't know why you didn't detail the physical stuff in yours, but I'm gonna do it in mine.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm laying there, and I kid you not, I had my hands if your hands are loose, whenever you relax your hands, they kind of fold in on themselves. It felt like somebody smoothed my hands open. And I'm okay, I'm just gonna ride this wave now. And then I had the tapping on different parts of my body, my knees, my legs. So I had a torn ACL, so I've recovered by a knee injury, so I felt tapping on my knee. I'm that's weird. And then I felt tapping on my hips. So I have hip dysplasia. One of my hips is completely fake, and the other one is not. There's a little bit of arthritis. I like to consider myself a, what they call it, a cyborg. Yeah. So they tapped my hips and then different body parts, and then it went to the chakras. And that's whenever we got the business. So it goes on, tap all my chakras, and I'm feeling like somebody is literally touching my, tapping on my chakras.
Yeah.
The pressure, it's not in your head, it's a physical pressure. So I'm not having any visuals right now. This is all sensation. Okay. And I'm alone, guys, alone. But I felt very relaxed. I didn't feel I wasn't panicking. I'm just okay, this is the attunement. This is how this is gonna go. And then it felt I felt pressure on my chakras, and then that digging sensation you were talking about. It was a digging, cramping. So I felt that lightly on my root chakra, and then I felt that lightly on my sacral and the solar plexus. So I thought that...
See, mine was the opposite. That's again.
My higher chakras.
Higher and mine was a lower.
Yeah, so I thought that before doing this, I thought that I had issues with my root chakra and everything. I was completely wrong. Like, my chakra, I had them flipped. So, so you said you were lower chakras, mine were my higher chakra. So we're going up, go to sacral, and then we are the solar plexus, and then we get to my heart chakra, and then I felt like immense pressure, like hardcore, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is this pressure? And then I felt this was the cramp in that cramp. And I don't know why I didn't, like, wake up and, like, run. I don't know what other people's Reiki attunements were like, but this was like...
I thought Reiki had a comment like, that wasn't Reiki.
It was definitely Reiki.
Yeah,
no, guys,
I know.
I mean, everybody's Reiki attunement is different, and nobody ever talks about their attunements, and I always...
It's a personal thing.
It is personal, and I'm telling you what happened because it changed, life-changing. It was a physical thing. Like, then I felt like my throat, like, pressure on my throat, like it was digging something out of my, like, clearing that chakra, and my throat was like, like, my throat's, like, hurting. And then it got to my, like,
your crown?
My third eye.
Oh, third eye, okay.
And then my third eye was, like, burning. And then finally the whammy was my crown chakra, and my crown chakra felt like it completely opened up, and it felt like like there was...
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I just remember when she called me after, because I was trying, she called me after mine, I was trying to not tell her that, because I didn't want her to, like, freak out and panic from the pain, so I didn't know she would have the same, so I was, like, really confused by everything. Okay, go ahead.
So, like, it felt like I had this immense, like, pressure. Like, the pressure was so intense on the top of my head. There was so much energy going in that I said, guys, this really hurts. Somebody listening to this is going to be like, I don't know what kind of Reiki you got.
I don't want none of that.
Yeah. But this is like the thing, we're getting master attunement, guys. So, we're talking about all the attunements. So, I felt this, like, crazy amount of pressure, and then it just felt like I could feel this energy coming in. So there was a lot of energy coming through, a lot of healing, a lot of, like, just cleansing out a whole bunch of stuff, but I felt the pressure on my head, and it was physical, and that's when I was like, holy shit, this is all real, everything's real. And so I, like, you know, I get out of this it subsides slowly, but the bulk of it was me feeling this, like, hardcore pressure on my higher chakras.
You might as well be getting choked out. That's funny.
It was a lot of pressure on all of the, like, higher chakras. And so then then it slowly subsides, and it's, like, peaceful, and I open my eyes, and everything is, like, super, super fucking vibrant. Like, everything was super vibrant. The glitter, like, I don't know, the lights were, like, sparkling different. And then I had this sense of, like, calm, and, like, nothing mattered, like, in a good way, like, not like, oh, life sucked. No, it was like, wow, like you realize your state, like, your being, like, here you are in the world, and what mattered to me suddenly didn't matter. Some of the material, like, aspects and worry and stuff like that I had, like, suddenly wasn't a thing in that moment, and I was a space cadet.
So
a
psychonaut.
Yeah. So I definitely think that it's important to not do anything after Reiki attunement so you can digest the energies. So the physical side effects of the attunement were still present after. My head felt raw. Like, it literally felt raw.
Yeah.
Like, to touch it felt like I had, like, a bruise or something on the top of my head. Like, I can't explain it. I had a throbbing headache, a crazy sore throat.
That's interesting. I just didn't, it is different for everybody. We do want to know that when we were attuned to the energy, we were attuned to everything. Our master teacher thought the way they did it was just all at once. Which I don't, like you mentioned, if I would ever teach somebody and attune them, I would do it in the way you're supposed to, in steps. Like, step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah.
I refuse to do that to somebody. The mentality is that you'll go through the healing crisis faster.
Yeah.
But I don't think it happens that way.
There's a 21-day healing crisis she's referring to with an attunement. So every level has 21 days. So there's a school of thought that if you get attuned all at once, then you, like you were saying, you only have one 21-day process, as opposed to having 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Her and I beg to disagree. We think that have the 20, regardless.
You just have it very intensely. So I think if you do it in the way you're supposed to, I don't think it's going to be as intense of an experience. But I think because we did have it all at once, it was a super overload.
Yeah.
Major overload. And that's why ours was so extreme. That's my theory.
Yeah.
On it. I don't know. If you're a Reiki master, let us know what you think. Yeah.
So we actually, a side note, we actually did get, you can get reattuned, and we've actually been reattuned level 1 and level 2.
Yes.
As well. And those getting reattuned, we felt called to do it, and we didn't get it reattuned by the same. We love our Reiki master. We love her. We have other teachers too. We have like these teachers that are currently chilling in Nepal. And
yeah, we have
the lakes. So
our original master teacher, and then we have 2 more. So we have 3.
Yeah, so we actually did get reattuned to both levels, but we did them one at a time and then allowed the 21-day gap in between. And when we did it that way, I felt like I was being attuned again, but I didn't feel the immense craziness. That could have been because we already like worked through that stuff, and that's why it wasn't like super crazy. But the second time I did it, I was not experience anything weird. Okay, so I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I think we're good for this one. We might do later ones where we talk more about this stuff. Okay, so now we're going to do our Reiki healing at the end of this. So if you would like to receive it, stay tuned. And we ask that you do not operate heavy machinery or drive vehicles while this. You can save it for later. Okay, thanks for listening.